Hi everybody, it's Honest John again. Now, Ted Bundy was a notorious serial killer, rapist, and necrophiliac. He would often go back to places where he had hidden the bodies and do things to them until either they had become so rotted away that it was impossible to interact with them anymore, or they had been eaten so much by animals. In short, this guy was a real monster. But he was a good-looking guy and very charming, and he used that to lure his victims to places where he could then overpower them and try to kill them. He was captured in Florida in 1978 and died in the I think it was the electric chair at the time, in the late 1980s. I think it was 1989. But what was interesting was that during his trials, there were just tons of young women who came to those trials and to be a part of that thing, not because they wanted to support the victims. One of the things that made it pretty easy for the prosecution to convict Bundy was that there were several women who had survived his attempted murders who testified against him. And he was linked to over 30 murders. But yeah, these women came out not to support the victims, not to see justice done, but because they had become fangirls of Ted Bundy. They thought he was cute. They thought he was sexy. And they came out pretty much to support him. Evidently, the horrifying things that he had done to their fellow women made no impression on them. They liked Ted Bundy. And I think a lot of these fangirls, I think they grew up to be Republicans, to be Republican women. Because Donald Trump has this incredible support from Republican women, despite the misogynistic and downright terrible things that he has said about other women. Despite the fact that he was accused by his ex-wife in legal papers of rape. But you have all of these Republican women who support him no matter what he says about women. But you have to remember, these are Republican women. Women who don't think that they should control their own bodies or be able to choose for themselves whether they can use birth control. They may be successful in business or politics, but they're still looking for a man to tell them what to do. And they mistake Trump's blunder and crude talk for being an alpha male and don't recognize it for the weakness that it is. Even when he talked about wanting to have sex with his own daughter, that doesn't seem to have turned them off. Matter of fact, maybe it was a turn on. They see him as a dominant alpha male. not realizing that he is simply stupid and weak. And when the time comes for him to go up against an alpha female, he will collapse like a cheap tent. Thanks for listening.